Good morning, everybody. My name is Patrice Kennerson. I am the Veteran Services Coordinator for Central Texas College, and I would like to welcome you all to another session regarding veteran service benefits. And today we are going to be discussing a few topics on our agenda. Once more, I'd like to remind everybody this is going to be an ask question, informative session. So if you have any questions regarding status checks, I just want to kindly remind everybody that any questions regarding any status checks should be directed to the Veteran Services email at veterans.services@ctcd.edu. Or if you want to call, you're more than welcome to give us a call at 254-526 1666 or 254-526-1205. Again, that's veterans.services@ctcd.edu, and the telephone numbers are 526 area code 254-1205 and 254-526-1666. Just to give you a quick recap of what was discussed last month, we kind of went over some new programs that were added into our system, associates programs and certification programs that were added. We also discussed the rounding out rule. And just to give you a quick summary of what the rounding out rule is, specifically, for those students who are not familiar with the rounding out rule, the rounding out rule basically states for students who are graduating, the rounding out rule before it was changed, and now the new rule that will go into effect this coming August this year, 2021, states that before the rounding out rule specifically stated that students who were graduating for the certain semester, for students who were using VA benefits, were allowed to take classes to become full-time students in order for them to receive housing. They could take any classes to meet the full-time status. Well, there has been some changes to the rounding out rule. The changes that have been made to the rounding out rule, at first they were going to alleviate it altogether, but there's been a change in that. What the rounding out rule now states is that there is a rounding out process, but now it is more clearly defined. And what that clearly definition is that the rounding out rule states is that students can round out, but however, to meet full-time status, you have to take classes that are now specifically on your curriculum or degree plan. So let me make this clear. The rounding out rule that will go into effect this coming August 1st, 2021, states that in order for you to round out, and you do round out, pardon me, and you have to be graduating that specific term in order for you to meet full-time status. You can't round out, but you have to take classes that are specifically on your degree plan. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear. Okay. And the last thing specifically that we went over is that anybody who's interested in getting some part-time money, you do have to be in school at least 3/4 time. And if you are a veteran, we do have VA work study positions available. If you're interested in that, you're more than welcome to give us a call here at the Veteran Services Office at numbers 254-526-1666 or 254-526-1205, or you're more than welcome to look on our website at www.ctcd.edu, and we can provide information regarding how you can apply for those work study positions if you're interested in. The starting rate is $7.25 per hour. The most amount of hours you can work is 20 hours. Maximum amount of hours you can get every 2 weeks is 50 hours. And you get paid every 2 weeks or every 50 hours, whichever one comes first. It's very similar to financial aid in that you do have to meet academic requirements. Minimum GPA is 2.0, so keep that in mind. Of course, and of course, like I stated before, you do have to have pretty much, you have to be enrolled at least 3/4 time in order to get that, so to speak. So keep that in mind if you're interested. Just give us a call or you can take a look at our website. All right. To go into what we want to talk about today, we're coming up on the second half of the summer semester, and we're also coming into fall registration in the fall semester. And there's been a lot of questions in regard to the registration process and how to apply for VA benefits, so to speak. So I wanted to really get into that today. And pretty much there's been a lot of student inquiries on how to apply for VA benefits and how to register for VA benefits and how to retrieve certain documents and how to apply for documents. I remember going back all over this in January, so I really wanted to recap on this just to kind of give you all a reminder in case you had any questions about that for new students that are coming in as well as returning students as well, and also to help how to avoid being dropped for non-payment. So we'll start off pretty much on, as far as any new students, pretty much how to apply for VA benefits. So best way, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share my screen with you and tell you how you can basically apply for VA benefits. What you want to do is, if you're applying for VA benefits for the first time, if you're ETSing out of the military and you're interested in applying for VA benefits, you do want to go to where it says www.va.gov. And if you bear with me one moment, I will be happy to show you where you can go to actually get that done. Bear with me one moment. I'm sorry, that's the wrong screen there. Let's see. All right. So if you go to, and I'll go back here so we can backtrack for you. So if you go to www.va.gov, you're going to come to a home screen, which is going to look like this. It's going to say U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. And when you scroll down, you're going to see four boxes. You're going to see healthcare, disability, education, and records. You want to go to the box that says education. And inside that education box, you're going to see four links. You want to go to the very bottom link that says apply for education benefits. You want to click on that. When you click on that link, you're going to see a whole bunch of information. And off to the left side, it's going to be already highlighted where it says how to apply. And then the very center, it's going to give you a very bold link that says how to apply for GI Bill and related benefits. As you scroll down, and these are for those who don't know how to apply for VA benefits, you're going to see in the very middle as you scroll down, find your education benefits form. And you keep scrolling down, it gives you more information. But as you see in this green rectangular box here, if you click on that, it's going to give you a drop down menu. When you see this drop down,
Patrice, we're not seeing what you're seeing.
you're not? Okay.
Nope. Sorry.
Okay, let me back up a bit. We got a bit of a problem here then. Somewhere along the line, we must have lost it somewhere. Let's try sharing it again. Okay. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, while we're doing that, I want to let everybody know we do have a lot of great questions coming in
Okay.
about what to do after they fill out the VEC form and what are the next steps. So I think that's pretty much what you're going to start going over right now,
Okay.
it shortly thereafter, and we will get to that. We'll make sure to
Okay.
get to that. But if you have any questions afterwards, just keep on typing the questions and we'll go ahead and answer them.
Okay, yes, I am going to get to what you do after you complete the VEC form. That is a good question. Hold on to that. I will get to that. I promise you. Okay. So let me go ahead and finish this right quick. So, because this is not going to take long. So, once you go ahead and I'll go back to where we were right quick. So, once you go ahead and get to this portion right here, how to apply for benefits, you want to go ahead and where it says apply for, click on where it says apply for new benefits, and you're going to fill out the information accordingly. It says, are you a veteran or service member? You're going to click yes or no, excuse me, yes or no accordingly. And you're going to continue on as you would filling out the questions as you answer them according to where your status is, whether you're a veteran or a dependent. Now, once you finish completing the questions, mind you, the process, once it's done, is going to take about 30 days for you to receive any kind of response from the Department of Veteran Affairs. What you're going to be looking for in the mail is going to be called a certificate of eligibility. When you get that document, you need to hold on to it because we need that document in order to process your benefits here in this office. That's a very important piece of information because that's going to tell you, number one, what type of benefit you are eligible for. Number two, it's going to tell you how much time you're eligible for that benefit. And number three is going to tell you some other information as far as if you have what is called a delimiting date, a start and end date. It's going to tell you how long that eligibility is good for. So remember to look for that piece of information in the mail. So that's basically how you apply for your education benefits. For those who are basically ETS and out of the military, and you want to go ahead and apply for VA education benefits. Okay, so let's just say now that you've already applied for the process of your VA benefits and you've gotten your certificate of eligibility, and now if you're a new student, you've already gone through the process of being admitted through CTC, and you've already spoken to an academic advisor, and hopefully you've gotten to that point, and you've already gotten your degree plan, and you've already know what classes you get ready to take, gone through the registration process. And at this point, what other documents are needed for you to complete your VA process? Okay, good question. Here are some of the other documents that are needed for you to go ahead and complete that process. Someone had mentioned pretty much what's needed is, let's see, I think someone mentioned, let me go ahead and narrow this down so I can have better access to the, what is it? Such as the verification enrollment certificate, the VEC. So, there are two ways you can get the verification enrollment certificate, and there's two ways you can submit it. You can either submit it by email through veteranservices.ctc, excuse me, veteran.services@ctc.edu, or you can submit it through eTree. Um, what happens is once you complete the veterans enrollment certificate, the next step is there's some other documents you do need to complete depending upon what benefit you were or what benefit you've been approved for. If you completed what is called the next, or excuse me, the next documents you would need to complete what is called a student responsibilities form. And what's also need to be completed is that in addition to the student responsibilities form, and in addition to that, what also needs completed, if you haven't already, if you're transferring in from another school, you would need to complete what is called a change in program or place of training form if you're coming in from another school. Um, the Veterans Enrollment Certificate only needs to list the classes that you're taking for the current term. So if you have that, you can either drop that by our office or you can submit it through eTrieve. And if you have already know the process through eTrieve, um, or if you submit it through eTrieve, that's wonderful. What you need to do at this point is if you submit it through eTrieve, you do need to contact our office right away, so we can notify, so we can go ahead and see, depending on what benefits you're having. Say, for example, if you're using post 9/11 or if you're using vocational rehab, which by the way does not require for you to pay out of pocket. So we can go ahead and check to see the classes that you're taking, if those classes you're taking fit what's on your degree plan, and since you're not required to pay out of pocket, then we can go ahead and make arrangements with the business office so we can put those classes on hold so you don't get dropped for non-payment. So that's pretty much your next step after you go ahead and complete your veterans enrollment certificate. If you're a new student, then yes, I would say if possible, go ahead and see if you're in town, see if you could go ahead and make arrangements with us. If you can come by the office, if possible, or if you can't come by the office, you're more than welcome to email us about seeing what the next step are and getting those additional documents. Like for instance, the certificate of eligibility. If you're the veteran, then you need to provide what is called a duty of discharge 214, DD 214. Um, in addition to those two documents, the actual degree plan, if we don't have one on file, as well as the student responsibilities form. In addition to that as well. If you're the dependent, then pretty much what we would need is that not the DD 214, but we would need the, I think there was a question coming in. What was that question, Marciela?
What was the other form after VEC, the student something something?
The student responsibilities form.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And they can actually get that at our office, and or they can email us and we can send that form to them. If they're if the student is a dependent, if you're a dependent student, then basically what you would need is that we would need a DD 214. However, we would need the veterans enrollment certificate, the degree plan, the let's see, the student responsibilities form, and let's see. Bear with me one moment. Trying to think of these offhand. See, there is the certificate of eligibility, the veterans enrollment certificate. There's,
Is that on the website?
let's see, on a website. See if I can 214 degree plan. The degree plan. Okay, there we is. There we go. So it's the degree plan. So here we go. So it's the certificate of eligibility, the veterans enrollment certificate, the degree plan, and the student responsibilities form. So I tend to get tongue tied there. So if you're the dependent, we would just need those four documents. Um, so that's if you're an incoming new student. So remember, as incoming new students, we would just need those additional documents initially. If you're a returning student, return students, remember, unless you're changing your degree plan. If you're changing your degree plan, then we do need a copy of your degree plan, as always. But then also remember, if you're changing your degree plan, you're going to have to complete what is called a change in program and place of training form. And we also have those available here in our office. And you can complete that while here, or we can also send a copy to you by email as well. So always keep that in mind. In addition to that, um, let's see. There's also something else. Okay. Now, those are basically the documents that are needed in order for you to go ahead and either start your VA benefits or either renew your VA benefits. What I also wanted to go ahead and talk to you about today is how to go ahead and get those benefits in, excuse me, get those documents in a timely manner, and give you some tips on basically how to avoid being dropped for excuse me, how to avoid being dropped for non-payment. Um, Let me go ahead and share that with you as well.
So
And
while you're figuring that out, because we don't see it quite yet, it looks like you're trying to share something differently.
yes, I am.
Um, so you might want to stop sharing the browser and then just op
Yeah.
start sharing the document. We do have some, like, we have a returning student that is saying, okay, I filled out all my forms and I filled out everything that you have mentioned. Uh, what's next? Is that basically what you're going to be explaining right now?
Oh, correct. Okay. So if you've already filled out your forms and you've already completed all the documents, then keep in mind that we do have multiple students who've already probably done all of this before. So we have kind of like a plethora of applications that we're dealing with. So we do process in the order that's received. So what happens next at this point is, unfortunately, and I hate using this, we're playing the waiting game at this point. So at what it is that the next step is you will receive a notification from VA let you know that your certification has been processed. So the next step is to watch out for your email and wait for an email stating that, okay, you'll see something saying that you have been certified for this particular term, such and such term for such and such credit hours. So that is the next step. You'll receive, and possibly if there's anything that's wrong or if there's anything that's missing, then you'll receive any type of email. You'll receive excuse me, you'll receive some type of email notification from your school certifying official saying, well, this piece of information is needed or this piece of information is incorrect. And they'll have you either redo whatever needs to be redone or have you submit some type of information that's needed. So, um, are there any other questions before I move on?
I think we're up to date. I'll let you know as soon as we get more.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what I wanted to also wanted to talk about in this case. So what I really wanted to go into was pretty much tips on how to avoid being dropped for non-payment. So, and really what I wanted to do was try to increase communication out to all of you on how we can do this. Because one of the biggest things is, especially when we have so many students that are trying to get in applications, is especially when we have an online system where you can submit your verification enrollment certificates, especially when you're using post 9/11 and vocational rehab, when you're not required to make tuition payments. If you're going to use such benefits as those and other benefits, it is really, really imperative that you go ahead and let us know immediately if you're going to use the online system such as eTrieve, to let us know when these verification enrollment certificates have been submitted. Now, especially when you've already, because we already know that it's stressful for you when you're already trying to get all this stuff started as a new student. You have the burden of trying to get into school, and especially as a new student trying to get all this done. You have several different departments you got to talk to, and then you're trying to get all this situated, and then on top of that, um trying to get everything done in a timely fashion. The time frames are pretty much hard to determine in some cases, because especially when we have a flux of applications coming in, and I've had this question asked before, and it's really, really hard to say how much of a time frame we're looking at, because I can say it can be anywhere from about 2 to 3 weeks as to when these certifications can be completed. And this is why we've always tried to encourage students, get your certification applications in as soon as possible. Probably, I would say maybe even about a month out prior to when classes start, as soon as possible, because that gives us enough time to go ahead and process everything. um, Usually in cases such as this, when we have employees out, it does take a little bit longer, but I would say anywhere from about 2 to 3 weeks out is usually the time frame it gets us to make sure everything's in and everything gets processed in a timely manner. So that's why I would say that's usually the best time frame for everything to get processed and done. Um, so with that said, um, let me go ahead and give you some best tips on what you can do to make sure you have everything that you need to have to give to us. And if you're using post 9/11, Montgomery GI Bill, whether you're using reserve 1606, 1607, vocational rehab, post 9/11 transferability if you're a dependent, or even Chapter 35 dependent educational assistance. If you're using the any type of benefits where you do have to pay out of pocket first, and there are benefits such as Chapter 30, Chapter 35, 1606, and 1607, where you do have to pay for your classes before your BEA benefits can be processed. Um, before you as a student, you want to make sure, number one, you get your paperwork to us as soon as possible, but most importantly, if you're using those benefits, let me remind you that you have to pay for your classes first. That's always a given. You have to pay for your classes first. There's several instances where a lot of students do not understand that anytime you use those type of benefits, you have to pay for your classes first in order for your VA benefits to be processed. And then there's another question that we get from students. Will I get reimbursed for those classes if I do use Montgomery GI Bill or Chapter 35? And the answer to that is no. You do not get reimbursed. You do not get reimbursed. I'm sorry. You do not get reimbursement for that. If you're full time, you do get housing. You do get housing. Yes, and you also get housing if you're also part-time in that case. It's not as much as full-time, but you do get paid housing. So just to let you know that as well. Now, also the question is, and students have asked me, can I also apply for other resources while I'm using VA benefits? And yes, you can use other resources while you're using VA benefits. You can see about applying for financial aid. You can look into scholarships. um, if you think you might be eligible for Hazelwood, you can check into that as well. And we do have Hazelwood contact information, which I can provide at the end of the session when needed. And of course, if necessary, you can also check in to see if there is a payment plan that you can set up with the business office. But I believe you have to be full time in order to be eligible for that payment plan. However, and in addition to that, any type of payment plan that you receive, you must provide proof of that receipt to us at the time when it comes time for you to go ahead and provide your documents to us when we go ahead and begin processing your paperwork. Now, if you are using Chapter 3 benefits and you are covered at 100%, just a reminder, if you have submitted your VEC through eTree, you have got to let us know immediately so we can make arrangements with the business office so that you don't get dropped for non-payment. Um, there's been a few instances and it happens every single semester, and we're trying to minimize that as much as we can. So that's why I like doing these sessions so I can try to get the word out as much as I can. Anytime when you submit your Veterans Enrollment Certificate, whether you're a new student or a reoccurring student, number one, you want to do it as early as you can. But if you use in Chapter 33 or vocational rehab and you're not required to pay tuition and you're covered at 100%, you want to let us know as soon as you submit your Veterans Enrollment Certificate that you have applied or reset in your recertification for VA, and you want to let us know as soon as possible so we can make arrangements with the business office so that you do not get dropped for non-payment. Um, in addition to that, if you are not covered at 100%, if you cover less than 100%, you still have to let us know. But however, the percentage that's not covered by VA, you have to make sure that it is covered by whatever financial means that you have, whether it's out of your own pocket or whether it's a financial means of some other. Um, before that you come see us, because even if we process the percentage that is covered by VA, you will still get dropped for non-payment if you don't cover that percentage that's not covered by VA. So I want you to keep that in mind. So make sure the percentage that's not covered by if you're not covered by VA 100%, the percentage that's not covered by VA, you want to make sure that you cover that percentage that's not covered by VA out of your own pocket or whatever financial means that's covered, which means if that percentage that's not covered by VA is being covered by financial aid or Hazelwood or scholarship, you must get in contact with those other areas, those departments, and make sure that everything is set up and good to go. And with that said, in addition to the percentage that is covered by VA, you want to get in contact with us. The same method as before, whether it's if it's chapter 33 or 31, and make sure that everything is set up to good to go with us so we can make arrangements to have that certain percentage less than 100 that's covered, so we can make arrangements with them so we can still get processed. Again, everything can still be submitted by means of email. You can still make appointments, whether you're a new or a current student. You're more than welcome to come by. We could still make an appointment arrangements for you. We can sit down, we can discuss whatever concerns or problems that you have, and we can do everything by office. Um, we still have appointment times available Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Right now until July 30th, we are still in observance of summer hours, so Fridays are closed. Um, However, um, until things have changed, my understanding is appointments are not going to be held on Fridays, but however, that still does not mean you cannot call with questions. So we're still open as of right now. After July 30th, we'll be open for questions on Fridays, but as of right now, we're still under summer hours. So just keep that in mind. Also, an important note, and again, I still want to emphasize this because it still happens every now and then. When a class is canceled due to lack of enrollment, or if you decide to withdraw from a class and enroll in another class with a different section number, I just want to remind all of you that you have to notify our office of the change or any inclusion of new classes, even with a different section number. Now, this is very critical, especially if you use chapters 31 and 33 benefits, and in that you're not required to pay out of pocket. Now, with that said, a new veterans enrollment certificate will have to be completed with the new section number. And then we have to go again and make arrangements with the business office. Because if not, if you don't notify us with that new section number of that new class, you'll be dropped for non-payment. And we want to avoid that, because again, we have this happen before, so we want to make sure you're aware of all these tips. So, and again, if you have any questions or you have any concerns, just please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you. So yeah, these are just the things that I wanted to go ahead and reiterate, and we wanted to go ahead and let you know what we can do to help you have an easy transition into the summer term and have an easy transition to the fall. And remember, early submission means early registration. Early submission means early payment. And that way, you can have a smooth, easy term. You can go to classes without any concerns. Um, any questions? Oh, and I also wanted to mention that if you had any questions in regards to the withdrawal process, feel free to come and talk to us about anything regarding withdrawal from classes before you actually do it. Um, that way we can go ahead and counsel you as far as withdrawal as well. So did we have any questions in regards to anything that we have discussed at this point?
Most of it is just making sure. I did have some comments that, they were trying to get a hold of somebody and they just couldn't for some reason. I know that you mentioned the email, the veteran.services@ctcd.edu. Can you remind us what the phone numbers and what's the best way to get a hold of
Absolutely.
you?
Absolutely. Now, I do want to advise people, we do have a couple of folks out on personal leave. We have one school certifying official that's out on bereavement leave right now. We also have another school certifying official that's out on personal leave. So I do want to apologize in advance that if you're not able to get a hold of certain individuals. So, but however, there are other ways of communication. Let me go ahead and stop this and show you how you can get a hold of certain individuals. Spare me one moment. See.
So I just want to thank everybody who has been watching. We've had some really great individuals that have had some amazing questions. Thank you very much for doing this because it really helps us. You're not the only one that might have some of these questions. You might also be somebody else. You're sharing the wrong thing, Patrice.
No, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting the phone numbers.
But
Sorry, I
yeah,
should have had this up earlier.
we want to make sure that I really want to thank everybody because you've had some amazing questions and it has definitely helped to make this more interesting when we get to answer your questions and we can see your comments. And we really, really like to be able to um, help all of our students out. So,
Can you see this?
mhm.
Okay. So here are the phone numbers basically that that if you want to get in contact with someone, you can. You're more than welcome to get in contact with any one of the school certifying officials. If you want to get in contact with myself, again, my name is Kennerson. I am the Veteran Services Coordinator. My number is 254 526 1666. If you want to get in contact with Mrs. Stephanie Lopez, she deals with Hazelwood. So if you have any questions regarding Hazelwood, this is who you want to contact. Her number is 254 526 1559. If your last name falls between A and F, you want to speak with Mr. Jonathan Flores. His number is 254 526 1732. If your last name is between G and L, you want to get in contact with Mrs. Trinette Jackson. Her number is 254 526 1202. If your last name falls between M and R, you want to get in contact with Mr. Jose Lopez. His number is 254 526 1110. If you have any questions regarding to a certification program that you're in, you want to get in contact with Mr. Daniel Reyes Jr. His number is 254 526 1982. And if your last name falls between S and Z, you want to get in contact with Mr. Anthony Spoonmore. His number is 254 616 3396. So those are the actual contact numbers of everyone that's on staff here at the Veteran Services Department. I also wanted to remind everyone that we do have a live chat that you're more than welcome to have access to. Let me see if I can, right now, right here. That's still available Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5. And like I said, unfortunately, we are on summer hours, so we're not open on Fridays. And you can still get to that by going to www.ctcd.edu. And when you get to the home page, you just click on students and you go to military veterans. And there it is right here off to the left side and the dark navy blue blocks where it says help in pink, live, and right underneath live help. And then, of course, there's always the web address, veterans.services@ctcd.edu. And then, of course, there are the contact numbers. Also, what I wanted to remind all of you is that coming up on August 7th, we are having a campus open house that's going to take place on August 7th, which is, I believe, is a Saturday. This is to let everybody know that
It's gonna be not on the 7th, it's gonna be on the 14th.
oh, it's on the 14th. Okay, the date has changed. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, it has.
Okay, I haven't gotten any notification. My mistake. It's on the
I'm
14th.
part of that committee.
Oh, okay, wonderful. That makes it even better. Okay, and this is just to let the public know that CTC is open for business, and several departments are going to be there, which includes financial aid, veteran services, myself, the department, academic advising, admissions, registration, testing. So just to let you know, we're going to be all out there. Let you know that we're open for business. So if you're interested, come on out, come and see us, come ask questions. We will be there ready to assist all of you. So hopefully we will be able to see you there. So that is all I have for you this month and today. Did y'all have any other questions? Anything else we can assist with you at this morning, at this time?
I don't see any other questions from Facebook. We really had a lively chat, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you, everybody. And if for some reason you have any further questions, we have included some of the contact information in the chat, and also we've discussed it in the WebEx. So I really hope that everybody had a great time. Thank you, Patrice, for doing this. It's obvious that there was a lot of people that had some great questions.
Yes, it was. I thank you all for the participation. And yes, you all did have some very good questions. Hopefully, if we're going to do this again next month, if there's any updates that's going on with veteran services, anything new, I will be more than happy and we'll definitely share it with y'all. So again, thank you so much for participating this morning. Thank you for attending, and hopefully I will see you again next month.